Welcome to Lawyers in the House with Motley. Wish you had a lawyer in the family? Now you do. Here's your host, Veronica Waters.
Welcome to the house, our very last episode of Lawyers in the House. I'm Veronica Waters, and as always, so thrilled to welcome you back into our house for another fabulous episode. What a ride it has been, has it not, folks? We have had such a great time together. At least I think I'm speaking for all of us when I say, where else could we have gotten together to talk about the plethora of all things personal injury and all of the things that it encompasses in the world? Where else could you have gotten together to talk about common legal terms and how not to tank your case? Who's going to fight for you when the laws that Montlick Injury Attorneys and its crew helped pass in the state legislature of Georgia got violated by somebody who knew better? Who's going to fight for you when you are injured through no fault of your own? And how does that process work? What happens when you're injured on the job? Who's going to help you if you put something wonky on social media? Who's going to tell you about how to make sure your kid's child seat is just right and where you can get the best one? And who's going to tell you how to deal with a teen driver? Do you really have hope if you've been in an accident and you're in a rideshare? We have covered so many topics over 103 episodes, and I know that a lot of those answers to those questions are all the same. It's the folks at Montlick Injury Attorneys telling you sometimes it depends on what your outcome is going to be or what the answer to those questions are, but they know that it is 100% guaranteed they're always going to fight for you. And today I'm here with a very special guest, someone I think it's fitting to have on our final episode because she was here from the very beginning on our first episode. She is Nikki Montlick, Montlick Injury Attorney. And Nikki, thanks so much for being in the house with me one more time.
So happy to be here for our last show.
What's it feel like?
Oh my gosh, it's surreal. It's been such an amazing 2 seasons with you, and I've learned so much along the way. So it's really special to be here.
I've learned so much too. I always tell people when I'm talking about Lawyers in the House that this show combined my love of the law with my love of interviewing people and learning things. This was such an amazing 2-year journey. And I'm not a lawyer, but I play one on the radio sometimes. And I feel like my knowledge base has grown so much just from being in here with you all week after week. I never knew any of the things that you guys opened my mind to about personal injury and about what those battles are like and how you really go to bat for folks. It's amazing to hear somebody talk about how they made sure that a victim's rent got paid on time because the medical bills had been piling up since this horrific accident. It's wonderful to hear those relationships that formed between the lawyers and their clients that formed into real life lasting friendships, relationships that went way beyond a personal injury case into something that was more meaningful and a lot deeper. And I want to thank you all for welcoming me into that world.
Well, thank you. It's been so special to have you a part of it and to share these stories.
Yeah. I know, everybody, that I would be remiss if I didn't let you know that the entire family at Montlick Injury Attorneys wanted to thank you for letting us into your home week after week, onto your job, into your office, bringing us in on your favorite podcast platform, listening to us as you drive in your car, as you're ready to get out into the world, or just downloading us and taking us with you on a run, on a walk, or sharing us with your family. I have loved the texts that I've gotten, the emails that I've gotten about people telling me week after week, man, this was so helpful. Wow, I never knew that. Thank you so much to those lawyers for letting me know something. And, it really highlighted some moments in my own life where I wish I had known about Montlick many, many years ago.
Well, now you do. Now we're here. We're here for you, and we're here for people, not just in the Atlanta community, but beyond. But it's our duty and obligation as attorneys not only to be there and advocate for people, but also to leverage our knowledge and our expertise and share it with the community.
You know, Montlick Injury Attorneys is now celebrating its what, Nikki?
40th year.
40th anniversary. It is amazing to see how the firm has grown into this just right firm, not too big, not too small, and full of everybody who is like sharing the same ethics, the same morals, the same values, and pushing forward, and 40 successful years of winning billions of dollars for their clients. And you have been a part of that since long before you became an attorney.
Yeah. No, it's truly amazing. I mean, my dad started this firm in 1984, and he did so with the intention of providing exceptional client service way beyond anything he'd ever seen before. And then to give back to the community in a really meaningful way. And I think that's very much in the forefront of what we try to do when we show up every day. And being part of the community is something we're really passionate about, and we're constantly finding new ways to get involved and to reach people.
It seems as if that ethos is something that sets Montlick apart from so many other firms I've ever seen or heard about.
Yeah, I think it does. And at our core, we just want to help people. You know, that's why we do what we do. That's why I went to law school. Those are just the values that I think we all share. And it's the reason that we've been able to do this for 40 years. And we're going to do it for another 40 as well.
Yeah, cheers to the next 40 years. I want to say that in 2 years, we did 103 episodes. We had dozens of guests. Again, some of them were clients, some were community partners. We've talked with people whose lives have been changed with the help of Montlick, changed for the better. And I don't really mean to get misty here, but it has been, it's really been good. And
you're gonna make me cry.
I did not mean to get weepy, but it shows that the good guys do win. Good guys can come out on top. And not all heroes wear capes. You know, Montlick has been around, I think, for 40 years because there is such a history of winning for their clients.
You're going to make me emotional. No, I think it's so important that there's someone to protect people's interests and to protect the underdog and to protect people who are being taken advantage of. And that's always something that's going to happen in our society. And it's a privilege to do that. It's a privilege to work with people that share the same common goal. And it's a really, I think, authentic desire to help people and to do the right thing and to conduct yourself with integrity. And it translates, you know, that authenticity is real, and it's why we do what we do. It's why I grew up knowing I wanted to be a lawyer. I never had a doubt in my mind. And I think a lot of people that are with us at Montlick have the same exact mentality.
It's so
true.
Special. It's so true. It's tangible. You can really feel it. You can really feel that connection, and you can feel that personal touch. I was talking, though, about winning, 40 years of winning with Montlick. And now I've got to tell you, everybody, Montlick Injury Attorneys is taking its winning onto the water.
Yes. So I'm excited to share with you, you know, we've always been trying to be really innovative and trying to think of new different ways to get out there in the community. And we are taking our love and passion for winning in the courtroom to the water by sponsoring an offshore powerboat race team.
That's awesome. When I first heard about it, I was like, what? I mean, that would never in a million years have occurred to me. I've got to learn more about this. Why this? Why now?
You know, it may seem random on its face, you know, why would a personal injury law firm sponsor an offshore powerboat race team? But there's actually a lot of really interesting synergies and shared values between us and the Doug Wright team, which we came together with them and founded this partnership. And now we've introduced this 2024 race season, the Montlick Injury Attorneys Race Boat. And this is a group of people that they really value perseverance, hard work. They have so much integrity, and they're actually from Atlanta. And it's J.R. Don and his son Logan Adon. He owns the team, and Logan Adon races the race boat. So it's this really special and cool familial connection that they have together. And you know, there's a lot of familial connections within our firm too.
So many.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, in a really competitive sport like this, there's such a love for competition, and there's a desire to win and a desire to work really, really hard. And it's interesting because what these guys do, it takes them months of preparation and hard work and meticulous attention to detail to not only create these boats, rig them, get them ready to go on the water, but also the mental preparation and the mental toughness and resilience that they have to have and the ability to work as a team. And it really parallels what we do when we're building our client's case. You know, we put our heart and soul into it. We'll stay up all night if we have to. And we do what it takes to win, and that requires tremendous attention to detail as well, tremendous care, tremendous thought. So we have a lot of shared values between the two, and there's actually a lot of common parallels between getting a boat like this on the water. And it's high performance, a lot of precision, a lot of commitment to excellence, and that's exactly how we feel we operate as well.
Yeah, I would never have known before getting a little bit of that, how many parallels there are between powerboat racing and a personal injury firm that is Montlick Injury Attorneys. It really is incredible. This is Lawyers in the House with Montlick Injury Attorneys on WSB. We're talking about Montlick Injury Attorneys now sponsoring the Doug Wright team. Yes?
Yes.
In powerboat racing. And right out of the bat, Montlick was what? Number 1 at the finish line. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, that's right.
In the very first race?
In the very first race in Marathon, Florida, the boat came out, never having before been in a race, and they won by a minute and 8-second lead. And it was just a testament to their hard work and their commitment to winning. So we were really excited.
Phenomenal. That is phenomenal. I mean, if that doesn't tell you something about how everything Montlick touches apparently turns to gold, right? Blue ribbons around, championship cups, everybody. That's fantastic. Now, can you tell me a little bit more, though, about how the relationship formed and how you guys really, what was the conversation like that led to this sort of coming together?
At first it seemed a little bit like a wild idea, but we had so much in common with these guys in terms of shared values, and we're always looking to do new things in the community. And how can we get out? How can we connect with more people? How can we help more people? And this was just taking it to a whole new level. These races are around the country. They are accessible to anyone. They're free. Anyone can go. And it's just a really powerful way to bring people together. And I think sports evoke a certain type of emotion and a certain type teamwork and connection and friendship. And there's just a lot of beautiful things that come out of something like that with that spirit of competition.
I love it. Nikki Montlick with Montlick Injury Attorneys talking about Montlick moving to the water to continue its winning ways. It might sound like all play and no work, right? But I'm telling you, Montlick doesn't do anything, doesn't take one step without thinking of how it impacts the community around it as it continues to innovate and move forward. That's coming up next here on Lawyers in the House with Montlick on WSB. Welcome back to Lawyers in the House with Montlick on WSB. I'm Veronica Waters here with Montlick injury attorney Nikki Montlick, and we're talking about Montlick's transition from the courtroom to the offshore and how Montlick is continuing its winning ways with this high-performance offshore powerboat racing team. It is sponsoring for the very first time this year as Montlick celebrates its 40th anniversary. Nikki, we left off talking about how successful the Montlick boat has already been in its very first season, and I really want to get to that in a little while. But I also really want to highlight the incredible job that Montlick is already doing with this new venture and making sure it still impacts the community.
Yeah, absolutely. We've always been, emotionally and financially invested in community partnerships, and we've had many amazing community partnerships over time. And giving back nationally. So I'm excited to tell you about a cool partnership that we've created with the Boys and Girls Club of Florida. Okay. We recently hosted in Cocoa Beach. We had eight or nine club members and their parents to a special meet and greet with the team where we gave them a whole sneak peek into the world of offshore powerboat racing. This event was designed to educate school-age youth on boat and water safety, on race preparations, and different career opportunities in the sport, and just gave them the opportunity to be exposed to something that they probably wouldn't have ever been able to see up close and personal otherwise. So we were really excited about this and, give kids the chance to see that, anything is possible, even something that seems as wild as being an offshore powerboat race boat driver or being involved in the sport in a different way. But this was a really exciting partnership and something that we're just getting started.
Yeah, I think it might be in a little ways kind of mind-blowing, if you will, to sort of come into this arena where you get to do a meet and greet with the actual folks who are out there in these dynamic races, which I've seen videos of so far. I haven't been to a race yet, but I'm hoping to attend one. And then to sort of see your mind expand with all the possibilities, because I think so many of us are, when we're coming up, we're thinking about certain types of careers, right? We think of, we might learn a trade, we might go to college, we might become a doctor or a lawyer or a fireman or a police officer, but who really talks to you about, hey, also you could be an engineer, you could also, you could build a boat, you could race a boat, you could do one of these many other careers. Look at this whole new world that's opening up to you. And I remember when I was talking to you and MJ about that Boys and Girls Club visit, MJ was saying something about how these parents were like, I never even knew this existed out here, and it's in my backyard.
Yeah. And they actually got to be there and talk to Logan, talk to the driver of the boat firsthand. And he's just 19 years old. He started doing this when he was 17. They actually made a special exception for him because he was so young. And so to get to meet him and talk with the members of the team was just a really special, cool thing to be a part of.
Making connections and showing kids what they're really capable of doing in this world. Coming up next on Lawyers in the House with Montlick on WSB, more about the success of the powerboat racing team that is now Montlick. Stay with us. Welcome back to the House, Lawyers in the House with Montlick on WSB. I'm Veronica Waters here with Montlick injury attorney Nikki Montlick, and we are talking about something so exciting today, Montlick's innovation and expansion from winning in the courtroom to winning on the water with its new powerboat racing team. If you have missed any of the exciting nuggets in the first half of our show, as always, we got you. Just make sure you download us on your favorite podcast platform. When the new episode drops, it's always in your ear every single week, right on time. And, you can take some of your favorite episodes to go with you to live in posterity, because this is our final episode of Lawyers in the House. 103 episodes of awesomeness. Don't you make me cry, Nikki Montlick. Don't you make me cry in here. And I want to make sure that you remember you can always find us forevermore on YouTube. And check us out with questions and answers and meet some folks in the firm at lawyersinthehouse.com. Nikki Montlick, we are on our final episode of the show. I mean, I can hardly believe it.
I know. I'm so sad.
I am too. And I just love this sort of full circle moment that we've had together, because you and I were on the very first episode together, and now we're here on our final episode.
Time flies.
It really does. Happy time. Speaking of flying, powerboat offshore racing. I mean, what in the world? I mean, this is amazing to see what Montlick has done. And I want to really sort of take people behind the scenes of what this sport is like. I mean, listen, where else can you go find a show that will have a law firm sort of open its doors and give you a peek behind the scenes into the inner workings of how the law firm works, how people fight for you, how those cases are put together, how folks win for you. But now we're sort of pulling back the curtain, if you will, on a whole new venture that Montlick is engaged in. So give us sort of the bird's eye view of what powerboat racing is like. I've seen some videos, but what does it feel like when you're out there watching a race?
Well, I'll give you the whole lay of the land, but I will say it's such a striking and beautiful boat. And if you want to see it right now, if you want a visual, just go to @TeamMontlick on Instagram or TikTok, or you can just Google Montlick Raceboat, and there's plenty of images out there. But this is a 38-foot catamaran. It is blue and lime green. It's beautiful. It has a closed canopy, meaning that there's a closed top on the boat. And it has a 72-inch tunnel. So it's a wide tunnel in the middle with the hulls on either side. This boat goes up to around 140 miles per hour.
Wow.
So it is not slow. But this is a really sophisticated piece of technology, and it's really striking and really cool on the outside, but there's also a lot of really interesting safety features and computers on the inside of the boat. When they get in the boat, they have a 5-point harness. They're wearing helmets. They're wearing fire suits, which are fireproofed. And then they're also wearing a capsule suit over it, which is a suit that is basically a full-body life jacket. And then they're also wearing a cooling shirt underneath, where they have a tube that plugs into it that pumps air into it to keep them cool in the boat. So there's a lot of different details. And before they get in this boat, they go through a lot of training. The first thing they do is they do a dunk test. And this is something that simulates what happens if the boat, God forbid, capsizes, which is very rare, but they have to be prepared, for all situations and err on the side of caution. So basically what they do is they are in a pool and they enter this dunk tank, and it resembles the inside of the boat in that same feel, and they're in their harness and in their gear, and then they simulate the flipping, and they have to be able to swim out and escape from the boat. So that's something that they do consistently. They also go through other testing of the boat. They're constantly testing the boat before the race.
I think there's got to be so much when it comes to preparing for a race and knowing how to handle any sort of curveball that comes at you when you're out there on the water. So I have seen videos of some of the races, and it is really thrilling. I've heard more than one racer actually say they feel alive when they are out there on the water, that there's nothing like it. The aerodynamics and the wind whipping and the speed of the boat, the loud sound of the engine, and how just it purrs along. Those videos that I've seen are so just thrilling to actually see. Even on video, you see the boat like just cutting a slice through the water. They're speeding ahead. They're whipping up this foamy wake. Sometimes they're skipping above the water, sort of riding those little tips and, skimming above. And they're just like flying in these little short spurts as they sprint toward the finish line. It really is fascinating. You can tell there's a lot of skill. I was watching a couple of the boats sort of kind of jockey for first place as they tried to move ahead and take the lead in a race. And it is really, really thrilling. How long do those races last?
They can last around 40 minutes.
Okay.
So that's an intense time period in the boat, and it's comparable to like an F1 or a NASCAR, where these are professionals. Don't try this at home. These guys train for this, and they really are. They're professional racers, and they're very skilled. And there's a lot of precision. A lot of precision. I don't think I could do that. Listen, this is not the kind of boat that you're going to shop for when you're taking a holiday on the lake, okay? Like a lot of us drive, but we're not NASCAR drivers, okay? So as Nikki said, don't try this at home. Don't try this on Lake Lanier. This is not what we're talking about here. This is offshore powerboat racing, and this is like some top speed, real high professional level stuff. So let's talk about the Doug Wright boat. You've given us a description of it, and it's this apparently stellar made piece of machinery that is also very striking and beautiful. Does the Montlick boat have a name? It is. It's the Montlick Injury Attorneys race boat. Can I say how amazingly thrilling and perfect it is what is on the side of that boat? Oh, thank you. Yeah, there's a lot of detail. Pull up a picture of the boat if you have not seen it. We have on the boat number 40, which the special significance of that. 40th anniversary this year. Yep, 40 years of serving our clients. So we were proud to put that. And then, interestingly, it's very cool. Doug Wright, which manufactured the boat, they've been making race boats for over 40 years as well. So that's a cool tie-in. And then also on the boat, we have Pound Win, which not only is because we love winning for our clients, and it's very fun to win races also, but this is actually a phone number. And Pound Win, #win. If you dial Pound Win, pound 946 from your phone, you can reach us nationally from anywhere in the country. Is that not so perfect? And it is so perfect. It's such an amazing tie-in. Like younger people say hashtag, they don't know what pound means, right? But right. Pound Win. And if you've seen it on the billboards, you guys, for years. And now it's on the side of this boat that is already actually living up to that phone number. It's #winning out there on the race, on race after race. Tell me about that very first win, Nikki. And tell me, come on. Now, I know Montlick moves in excellence always, but just between us girls, did y'all really think that you were going to come out with a win in your very first race? We did. They had such confidence. I've never met a group of people that love winning as much as they do, and they work so hard for it. But it was the most exhilarating feeling watching them win that race by 1 minute and 8 seconds. And we were actually watching from a boat. And it's cool because when the race ends, they have EMS and paramedics in a helicopter following the boat, not only filming the race, but following the boat just out of safety and out of caution. And when the race ends, the paramedics jump out of the helicopter into the water to cool off. And so you just have this beautiful visual of them on top of the boat with the checkered flag, and then you see them diving out of the helicopter into the water. And it's a very cool it's a very cool event. It was very cool to see.
That sounds so thrilling. So 1:08 to me sounds like a lot.
It is. It's massive. That's a really big gap and a big lead in this type of racing.
So everybody's sort of like twiddling their thumbs and like looking at their watches like, hey, where are the rest of these boats? Where is everybody? Hey,
watch them go.
Where's everybody? Montlick left everybody, in their wake in this very first race. How many races are there in a season?
So there's a handful of races. I believe there's around 14 races, but they vary and they travel all around the country. So we've raced already up until this point in Marathon, Florida, in Cocoa Beach, at Lake of the Ozarks in Missouri, Atlantic City, just to name a few, and Ocean City, Maryland. But we have a few coming up. If these are in your area, we will be in St. Clair, Michigan. We'll be in Michigan City, Indiana, Sarasota and Clearwater in Florida, even Miami. And in November is the World Championships down in Key West.
Now, Nikki, earlier we talked about some of the similarities between the Doug Wright team and the Montlick team and how that synergy has been coming together. Remind us of really what that relationship is like and how that translates on the water.
Yeah, 100%. And these guys, when they show up to race, they mean business. And I know that you know that we are the same way with our clients. We take our job very seriously and we do everything we can. We leave it all out on the table. And in their instance, they leave it all out on the course to achieve the best possible result. And there's so much detail and thought and hard work that goes into it. And that's exactly how it is when we're building our cases for our clients.
Help me paint a little bit more of a picture. How many boats are in a particular offshore powerboat race?
So it varies based on how many boats go to that race, but we've currently so far have raced against 7 boats at once.
Okay. So you have talked a little bit about the firm continuing to evolve, and this is yet another example of Montlick's sort of innovation of taking something. And what's so interesting is that when you're talking about going 140 miles an hour, I was thinking, well, that is finally something faster than most people drive on I-285 in Metro Atlanta. That is like such an impressive speed. And to know that people are piloting a boat in those conditions under those speeds, and that there have been, as you said, accidents are rare. This is something that is truly, truly done in excellence and with a lot of care.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will say they train extensively for if an accident does happen, but these are professionals. They're showing up and they know the risks, and this is very different from going out and pleasure boating or going out on the lake with your friends, where you should always act out of an abundance of caution with everything that you do, especially when you're operating a watercraft. Yeah,
we've done an entire episode about boating safety and safety on the water, everybody. So if you haven't heard it already, make sure you download it. That episode of Lawyers in the House with Montlick, it talks about boating safety, but this is a whole different level. I have to say, if you're listening to us on the radio right now or on the podcast, you can't see Nikki, but she has got the this cool blue and green jersey, Montlick jersey. Is this similar to what the folks wear? And the cool little hat.
Yes.
Is that what do they? So the guys are wearing helmets. They can't wear those hats out there.
So in the boat, they're wearing the helmet, but this is our team jersey, and we have a lot of fun. You can see this is the same colors that we have on the boat, and it's similar to our Lawyers in the House colors too. This is a bright green, lime green, and a blue, and it matches the boat. And they have complete team uniforms in their Montlick colors.
Love it. #win is what's on the side of that Montlick boat. And coming up, our very last Montlick closing argument of this season on Lawyers in the House. Don't you miss it. Welcome back to the house, Lawyers in the House with Montlick on WSB. I'm Veronica Waters here with Montlick injury attorney Nikki Montlick, and it's time for the Montlick closing argument. Nikki Montlick, take it away.
Thank you. It's so important that when it comes time to hire an attorney, you want someone that you really, really trust and that you know and you're comfortable with. And that's why we're out here in the community. We're meeting people. We're talking to people, we're here and we're present. I hope you never need our services, but the reality is that you may have a friend or a family member or a loved one that does. And if that ever happens, we're here for you. And we want you to know that you can trust us and we have your best interest. And that's why we do what we do.
It is something that I think I have said, and it might sound a little bit corny, but it really is impressive over the past hour how I can actually say with all truth that Montlick has taken its winning ways from the courtroom and expanded them onto the water. Really impressive.
Absolutely. We're just getting started, you know. We have another 40 years to tackle, and I'm really excited for everything that holds.
And tell me again, you said the boat goes like 140 miles per hour or something like that?
Yeah, up to 140 miles per hour.
So that lets you get to your clients quicker?
Oh, absolutely. We just hop in and I'll zip across the lake.
Are we going to see you, Nikki Montlick, out there on the water at some point, powerboat racing?
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah. I am planning on being in the shootout at Lake of the Ozarks in the middle of August. And the shootout is something where you go in the boat for about 2 minutes and it's a straight shot. So it's not anything crazy. And people go in the boat and they try to break the record. And so that's something that you may or may not see me in the future. A little different from the day to day. But it's always excited to be out and be meeting people and be part of something different and spread the word.
I love it. Montlick Injury Attorneys, a national law firm. And tell folks one more time how they can reach you, Nikki.
You can reach us at 1-800-LAW-NEED or #WIN. Hashtag, if you're a little bit younger, founder hashtag 946, hashtag #WIN. Just dial that on your phone. You can also reach us at Montlick Law on all social platforms on Instagram and TikTok. And you can follow along with the Montlick Race Boat and the boating team at Team Montlick on Instagram and TikTok as well. So
at Team Montlick.
Yes.
I love it. Thank you so much to Nikki Montlick from Montlick Injury Attorneys. As we set sail on our next adventure, think of what you have learned here, what you've experienced here in the house. If we've helped lift you up, if we've helped teach you something that helped you, inspired you with stories of 7- and 8-figure winning cases, touched you by introducing you to some of our beloved veterans and community partners, given you advice to help you understand the system and to help win your case, then we have done our jobs here on Lawyers in the House. We cannot control the winds, but we can adjust our sails. And when the world throws something crazy at you, think about who's going to help you adjust your sails and get you on the path to winning your case. Think #WIN, think #WIN, think Montlick Injury Attorneys. I'm Veronica Waters. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for trusting us. This was Lawyers in the House with Montlick on WSB.